Hello everyone, my name is Callior. I bring to you every week the latest news related to Bloodhunt and everything around it, and I help explain the news in a way to better understand what is going on. For posterity, archival, and recording purposes, it is currently Saturday, March 4th, 2023. It is currently 11:30 a.m. Eastern Time. It has been 312 days since the official release of Bloodhunt. Currently activated in-game is the Permanent Nemesis Pass. Nemesis, permanent with, an asterisk, as we've talked about recently. And the current patch in the game is the Combat and Power update that just got released this week. We are recording this live on Twitch. Every Saturday at 11 a.m. Eastern Time. If you are live, feel free to ask questions in the chat. Hello, chat. There you go. Hello, YouTube. There you go. Wait, you're here. You're here. Pat. Oh, hold on. Pat the chat. And as a reminder and disclosure, I am not a game dev. I'm not bound by an NDA, but I will do the best to explain the news with some reasonable assumptions. And yes, even though I do have a Bloodhunt shirt, I'm talking about Bloodhunt stuff. I do not work for them. I do not work for the Bloodhunt team, and I do not work for Sharkmob. There's a clear distinction to be made between those two groups. Hello, Bloody24K. During the recording of the news, for the people that are currently in Twitch, all sound notifications and pop-ups are all disabled. So we can do a proper kind of looking recording that's happening right now. So the topics this week, of course, there's a lot of things that you can expect that if you've been following the show. We're talking about Twitch drops. We're talking about the free Bloodhunt things. We of course are going to be the meat of this show today. We're going to be talking about the Combat and Power update. We're going to touch on some store updates, a few Bloodhunt related news, and quickly touch on tournaments, and especially the tournament that happened last weekend. But first, if you haven't, please give me a follow. Even if you're not going to turn on notifications, it would still mean a lot. I stream very casually during the week whenever I feel like it, or whenever my IRL work allows me to do it and doesn't completely burn me down and already makes me start digging my own grave. It's mostly streaming about Bloodhunt, but I'm going to be playing some other games. Join in. Let me know if that's the kind of content you would like to see from me. I will be playing this weekend. I'm going to be playing the new closed beta for Wayfinder. Something I'm very interested in taking a peek into. And I always do, whenever I'm playing Bloodhunt, I always do giveaways. I have some special things. I have the drops on my channel. Always make sure to have the drops on my channel all the time. So, let us begin. And hello. As usual, I'm going to be copy pasting all the links in the chat. All the links, I also post them all on my Discord, and if you're watching on YouTube, all the links are to be found in the description of this video. So, Twitch drops of the week. The main thing is we've got the Noxious Fumes mask and the OG drops returning. So, the Noxious Fumes mask is the currently delightful pink one, pink and purple-ish one that we've got right here. This one is available from watching 1 hour of the any of the channels that from the top 100 most watched Bloodhunt streamers over the last 30 days. The list is linked right here on this tweet, so you see all the names of the people that are there. And yes, this is gonna be for the whole week. Now, I said that there was the return of the OG drops. You can see them in this picture, but I'm just gonna put a better one here because I posted it here. It's the Pineapple Power. The Pineapple Power outfit, the Swift Vision eyewear that this character is currently wearing. It's purple glasses, and the Milk outfit that are available for these 3 drops. It's from every Bloodhunt streamer, and it's for the entire month. In order to collect the 3 items, you will have to watch 30 minutes for each, totaling 90 minutes of viewership to collect these drops. It is the 4th time that all of these 3 items have been made available again. They were the first original Twitch drops. That's why I call them OG drops. We have... This is fun because a lot of people have been requesting the Pineapple Power outfit. Some people were wondering if they was ever going to come back again. Had the right idea to bring it back. And the Noxious Fumes mask was for this week. Now it's been unveiled. The new series of Twitch drops has been unveiled, I should say. So yes, so for the next few weeks, we've got Noxious Fumes for this week. Next one is going to be a tattoo, Mark of Solution, which is one of those very subtle neck tattoos. I imagine if you're taking close-up screenshots of your characters, this would be one of the ones that you might be interested in. The Rough Patch eyewear with a V or 5 symbol on it. A lot of people have been talking about this one, the Cartel King outfit, which we assume is going to be male only, for male characters only. The Blow Raspberry emote, this is the first time that in the Twitch drops we are getting an emote, so we're gonna see how that goes. And for last but not least, a tattoo called Conundrum. Now we only see the arm right there. We don't know if there's going to be like any other parts of the body or behind the body, if the tattoo is going to like where exactly the tattoo is going to cover. So we're going to see it when we get it. So yes, that should tide us over with Twitch drops until April 14, when we will see if we're going to do as we've done previously. Whenever we've got a series of drops like this, are we gonna have another just week long of like a second chance for all those 6 Twitch drops again for about a week? Is it going to be available for every Bloodhunt streamer or whatever? We're gonna see. We're gonna know probably in the week of like whenever April 14 is gonna come. So yeah, keep an eye on that. And just so you know, all of these Twitch drops, as well as other Bloodhunt cosmetics, I decided to take upon myself to make, a Google shareable document of all the Twitch drops that exist. And no, Google, that's not, I didn't ask you to start things on my cell phone. Yes, all the Bloodhunt cosmetics, some of them that are available. There you go. All the drops that ever existed. This one is the current one that is there. We've got put all the little screenshots, and I will update them as they are available in game because I've linked the icons there. So there you go. You've got the whole schedule in there. You can save yourself that link. You can copy it. You can turn that into a checklist for yourself to know if there's any ones that you're missing. Also, there's other tabs for obtainable items that are still obtainable, that are not through Twitch drops, and unobtainable cosmetics that were available, but they're not. Of course, this is all a work in progress. Some people have been suggested ideas to me of things to add to this list. So think of it, this is a work in progress. This is my own little initiative to do that. But if you want to check it out, there you go, you have it. And if you feel like I missed something, please let me know. We are moving on to free things and giveaways. You should know that in the week that has passed, the Lost Lover mask that was a free code redeemable for everyone has expired on February 28th, so it is no longer available. Speaking of which, I mentioned last weekend that the Inner Circle, basically the program of content creators for Bloodhunt, there was a little competition for last Friday to see who would be streaming the most hours on that day, and the 5 people that would stream the most and would post their streaming time in the channel would be given some codes. So we have some winners. There we go. And they would be getting six codes to do, I guess, whatever they want to do with them. I don't know exactly the stipulation of what they're supposed to do or not do with those codes. But I know they're supposed to get 6 codes. Now, I don't know exactly how many, but I know that the 3 codes that can be shared by Tobias here, the community manager of Bloodhunt, is the Techno Demon Mask, the Fuchsia Finish Makeup, and also a code for the official soundtrack of the game. Now, so these are the 3 people that the 5 streamers that managed to win. There are supposedly all got their codes. I know that some of them have already been used, some of them have already been given away. So let me just link to you all of their contacts. I don't know. I haven't been able to contact each and every one of them to know what they're going to do with those with their own codes. So it's up to you to go talk to them, go to their channel, go see, talk to them, ask them what they're doing with it. Oh, there we go. Stinto's right here. Okay, well, hello, Stinto. I know that Vunex, I don't know exactly how to pronounce the name, the person that I just linked there, has been announcing also on Twitter every time that they've been giving away some codes. I know that a bunch of them have already been given out during the week. So, yeah, that's why I'm also linking their Twitter, because they seem to be very active on Twitter as well. And the last one that I'm linking here, Mangas Gaming, seems to be a TikTok streamer for Bloodhunt. So I've never seen them, never heard of them before. So there you go. I found their TikTok. There you go. There. That is where it is. Thank you for the hydrate. Have a little sip of that. So yeah, if you want to have a chance at one of those codes, go follow all these people. Have notifications on so you know when they're online, when they're available. Check out their socials. Maybe they're gonna let you know which code is gonna be available, where, how they're gonna distribute it, if they're gonna do a giveaway, if they're just gonna straight up give it to some people. It's up in their hands. So, next up, remember last week, I there was a little mention in the Discord, a little sneaky mention by Tobias that keep your eyes open for these custom Bloodhunt Xtrfy 65% mechanical gaming keyboards that have certain little personal touches related to Bloodhunt. Well, we have a giveaway right now that is going on for these keyboards. It's a Gleam IO thing, and yes, they're giving away 5 of those keyboards. So yeah, join in. You still have some time. Actually, hold on. I just want to make sure I did check beforehand. That's my bad. Just want to make sure I'm not doxing myself if I'm clicking the link. Okay, no. So there are 4 days left if you want to participate. It ends at on March 8th at 6 p.m. CET, 9 a.m. Pacific time. So there you go. Click the link there. You've got the link for the Twitter and the link for the giveaway there. There, I know from because Combat Glue was the one that organized all of this with Xtrfy. At least the figuring out of the keyboard. So he's told me that there is only a limited amount of these keyboards that exist in the world. So yeah, it's gonna be a very, very limited item if ever you manage to get one of those. Other things, it's a little bit too late because the giveaway was the drawing of the winner was yesterday for this. But Puhlusion, former Bloodhunt ambassador, did a little Bloodhunt care package giveaway. So there was about like the socks, some of the temporary tattoos, the set of pins, stickers, and other things. He made a video about it. He was giving away a care package, and the giveaway was yesterday, and it was Woonex that managed to win it. Unfortunately, if you missed out on this giveaway or being able to participate in this giveaway, Sag, it's sorry about that. Because of timing, I couldn't report it in time. However, I did retweet it on my Twitter. I did post it on my Discord. I have a giveaway section in my Discord. So whenever there's something like this that's either Bloodhunt related or other kinds of giveaways that I think people might be interested in gaming, there you go. My Discord is right there if ever you feel like joining up. That would be good. I will have some interesting discussions about some things in the future, but yeah, that's a way that you would have known about this giveaway. And now, moving on to the combat and power update. I'm just going to immediately start by reminding you that there is, of course, as usual, a survey for your feedback for the update. Survey is open until Monday morning, at least Monday. There you go. You see the times there. They're written there. So please go give your feedback. You should know how it goes. You've got the few questions, and then you've got the second part where you got a box, and inside that box you can write anything you want. As usual, I would ask you to please be concise. You don't need to write an entire long paragraph. Let them know how you feel about most things, not necessarily interested in reading like a whole big paragraph about things and other stuff. Like, no, this weapon feels good, this weapon feels bad, it feels like it's very, you need to make it very concise and let them know how you feel more than going into the very technical stuff that they might go like, you know what, buddy, actually we see the data and we see the numbers on our end. In terms of values, let us take care of this. Just let us know, this feels good, this feels bad. Here's some suggestions. Here's a suggestion for this, for that. What's my main priority? What's my main thing that I really want to have in this game? What I think you should be focusing on, but still give it like a short bullet point list if possible. I tell you, the people that are going to look at your feedback are going to be very happy if you turn your feedback that way rather than writing a long novel of a post. Anyways, that's my own comment to you. You still do whatever the heck you want. There you go. The survey is there. Don't forget to send it. Don't forget to fill it. You have the weekend to do it. All right, so let's go through the patch notes of the Combatant Power update. Now, if you're new here, so if it's your first time being here, as usual, I know that a bunch of people have just skimmed through the patch notes, have not gone in depth looking at every sentence and every word inside the whole thing. So I am going to read all the patch notes to you. Yeah, and we're gonna go like methodically through this list of a newscast, but let's see what we can glean from this. So, on February 27, 2023, Combat and Power Update patch notes. Greeting Bloodhunt community and welcome to the Combat and Power Update patch notes. By popular demand, some people skimmed over that. Okay, we have boosted three core game mechanics in Bloodhunt. Weapons, archetype powers, and the Bloodhunt resonance progression have all been buffed to unleash more power in the combat system. These adjustments aim to enhance the combat experience and increase the intensity of the player's encounters. On top of that, we are adding a new weapon, a new artifact system with the first artifact, dynamic camera case chests, additional balancing, bug fixes, and more. As usual, what they state at the beginning of the article is the thing that you should be keeping in mind when reading the rest of the article. It's always like this. Also, keep in mind the learnings article that we went through last week that already explained the philosophy, a bit of the philosophy of where we're going with this update, but also explained a little bit of what they're working on in the future, what direction they're taking. But now we're just going to focus on this one. So basically, buffing the powers, the blood resonance, more combat experience, intensity, and also you're gonna see more vampire in our vampire shooter game. So let us first go through the changes to the core game mechanics coming in this update. Archetype powers. With the following changes, we aim to emphasize what makes each archetype unique to play. We at times see players getting a little bit too well just using their guns, which is why all archetype powers are getting some facelifts. AKA, we see you doing the shooty thing, the battle royale thing. We see you do that. However, the other thing is that it's a vampire battle royale. You're not doing the vampire part of the battle royale enough, so we're changing that, so kind of like just give you a little nudge, like, you know, do the vampire thing. The goal is to open up for additional strategic play where your archetype powers can more often be a deciding factor for winning an encounter. This will also likely shift the meta around a bit and give players a fresh take on the combat, aka people that have been saying, like, you know, meta is stale. It happens in pretty much every online, like, game as an online service. Once in a while, they got to do things to switch up the meta. So, you know, this is the goal of what they're doing here. The most significant adjustments have been made for Vandal, Brute, Siren, and Prowler. Now, some of you may know, I'm just going to go through all of these things in terms of balance. I will not go into details about balance. If you want to talk about balance with things, we've got Motion Gaming that is currently in chat. Go on his channel. He loves to talk about balance. There's some other people in the community that like to talk about balance. Personally, again, it's a personal choice. I don't like to talk about it because it is way too complicated. There's a lot of theory crafting, and there's the reality of the game. These are two different things. And I feel like this is an area of expertise that I'm absolutely not, I don't feel qualified enough to go into. So you will take in that what you will. Go in the Bloodhunt Discord as well. There's plenty of people that are talking about the theory crafting of those balance changes. There's people that talk about that all the time. That's all they do. Go have a fun discussion with them. So, yes, Motion. When he's not playing Overwatch, that is. Earthshock for Vandal. The base damage has been increased and is further multiplied. The higher the point is that you drop from relative... Wait, did I have a... Okay. The base damage has been increased. It is further multiplied. The higher the point is that you drop from relative to the target you are applying the damage to. Okay, I thought I was missing a comma there. This change allows for more potential damage of the power itself, especially when you use high ground advantage and crash down on your enemies. The knockup force has also been reduced, making the window of helplessness of the target slightly shorter compared to before. So you can see, you know, increase on one end, but also as the victim, reducing the moment that you can't do anything. Shockwave punch for Brute. The knockback force of the shockwave punch is increased, which makes it not as easy to follow up with ranged weapons as before, because you get hit with the wall and immediately would still be able to get back at the Brute. Not so much, but the power has had is damage increased to compensate, which and it makes the power more potent when pushing people off a high ground, which can be incredibly useful in the right situations. Blinding Beauty for Siren. The archetype power will now silence the affected opponent, but the duration of the effect is slightly shorter. Enemies may still use their powers as a reaction to your casting, but find themselves in a worse spot if they decide to take the fight. Balance. It's not just like there's an increase and there's a fall off, and then it's anyways. Scouting Famulus for Prowler. Scouting Famulus now has the added effect of making enemies take more damage from all sources. That is the feedback that has been given by several people in the community, and this change has been, so far as I understand, there hasn't been a lot of people that have been reacting negatively to this change. This effect makes following up with ranged weapons, or even melee weapons, a good option. It also helps the ability be used more in combat, since it has been lacking in utility when you already have your target in sight. Now it can help you get that extra burst damage if used in combination with an ambush, for example. Lacking in utility. Remember, the devs on their end can see what we're doing. They can see our behavior. They can see the stats. They can see how many times we are using our abilities. And yeah, basically the Prowler, the Scowling Famulus, aka the bats, sending the freaking bats. We love Halloween. Yeah, haven't been using it that much apparently. So giving us a little more incentive to think about like send your bats away. Now, we have also adjusted the archetype powers for other archetypes. However, these have only had their previous values buffed, because it's good not to just have buffs to everyone at all times, because historically in other games, whenever that's been happening and decide to buff everyone, nerfs have swiftly followed, and then the nerfs tend to be very unpopular if you're maining one or the other. That's usually how I explain it. Unyielded Charge for the Enforcer. The damage output has been doubled. Warden, the Shackles. The cast speed has been sped up. Thank God. This is probably the most controversial of all of these changes, despite that there's been a lot of people that have been talking about the Blinding Beauty for the Siren. Yeah. The Saboteur Bomb. The damage output has been increased. Now that apparently is one of the most controversial balance changes that have been happening in terms of archetype powers. So maybe there's gonna be some follow-up with that eventually in the future. Rejuvenating Voice for Muse. The instant heal amount has been raised slightly and is now more difficult for other players to interrupt the channeling. Sabo OP, exactly. Now, for resonance progression, this is the interesting one. Feeding is a core mechanic in Bloodhunt, and the players are supposed to use the feeding mechanic to heal, but also grow stronger throughout the match. However, we have noticed that many players either ignore or only utilize this opportunity to a limited extent. Therefore, we have removed the initial limit of being able to obtain only 3 resonances before Diablo Rising, or feeding on entity to gain additional slots, so you can now continue to progress to your maximum total of 12. On top of this, you will also receive a filled blood resonance slot at random by committing Diablerie or by feeding on the entity. The path to increasing your resonances becomes more intuitive and less limited, and taking risks and spending time feeding and committing diablerie will feel much more rewarding. AKA, people, we've noticed you haven't diablerizing enemies enough. You haven't been using that enough. Also, kind of like, hey, we realize that maybe we haven't been explaining it in the game because the tutorial's not that good, if people even know that there's a tutorial. We haven't been explaining it properly, that we need you to diablerize to unlock resonances. So they remove the initial limit of only 3 so that people can, people can still go on diablerizing. Personally, I've been looking at, as my usual thing, sorry, it's a little parenthesis for me. Once in a while when I go in the Bloodhunt category on Twitch, I like to go see new streamers or streamers that have a very low count of viewers, just to see what their gaming experience is, see their initial reaction to the game, and also like getting a new kind of fresh take on exactly how the game is perceived, because we're getting a lot of us that have known the game for quite a while, we are known, like we know how to expect or perceive like how the different changes and updates over time are with the game. But to a new player that comes to, let's say, the combat and power update, how are they perceiving all this? And yeah, I have to say that a lot of new players don't understand the whole thing about the resonances, the 3 resonances being locked, and you need to eat entity or other enemies to unlock those other slots. They just keep feeding on people, even though the UI on screen is telling them that they're missing slots, and they're just drinking from civilians left and right, not exactly knowing what they're doing. They just know that it's a good thing to eat from people, so they're just doing it. Now, at least if they don't understand that whole concept, well, now they have the resonance slot. Their resonance slots are going to be open up to 12. And yeah, and personally, interesting about the random resonance slots from Diablerie or Entity. A little bit of lotto involved into this. Could be interesting. I haven't seen a lot of feedback about the the lotto resonance system, but yeah, I'm very interested to see what people are thinking about it. If it's just like, well, yeah, it's a thing, or if it's if people have like any issues with it. So far, I haven't heard any feedback about this. But anyways, yeah, there's also what they're saying here about taking risks and spending time feeding and committing diablerie. Yeah, because like normally a lot of people will just completely empty the clips or their weapons onto you when you're down. Will not spend the time feeding. Just have to remember that if you feed on someone, if you commit diablerie, then you're gonna get some positive out of this, but for a few seconds you are vulnerable to get shot at, found out by everyone around you. So, it's the risk reward type of thing of committing diablerie. That they want to remind you that it's a thing and that you should be doing. To balance these changes, however, the number of civilian NPCs in Prague has decreased. You will now have to look around a bit more to find a specific resonant civilian. Now, I know that some people, regarding this specific changes, have been going like, well, that's, how does that balance? Like, I will just not be feeding because you've removed so many NPCs. The thing that people forget is that when you feed off a civilian NPC, it just becomes unavailable for a certain time. Then at some point it will get back up and it will be available to drink from, unless someone kills them on purpose or mistakenly. So we're gonna see how that's gonna work, especially because of the number of civilian NPCs. Like, is there's people that saw that's changed that were worried exactly about how that was gonna work in practice inside the game. So maybe stick a pin in that and see if that's the kind of feedback that maybe some people will go not too inclined on feeding on other people. Additionally, we have improved the visual representation of the resonances, partly to display the progression to maximum power more clearly, but also to make the progression through the different resonances feel more rewarding and more visually appealing, as you can see here. Also, I mean, at the bottom of the screen, they've changed, as we've mentioned last week with the learnings article, the screenshot that we got in there, the resonances and the health bar has been changed. And also, when you are feeding on someone, it's clearly the circle that you see here is separated into 3 parts. And every time that you're going to feed from someone, you're going to see one part of that circle being filled up until you get to, you feed 3 people of that specific blood resonance to get to the max. It's more of a visual representation to understand how much you're getting from that from feeding, or if you have a progression to do, or any kind of thing like that. Yeah, sorry, that was a little bit rambly, but let's go along. Hold on, let me take a sec. I've got some neighbors doing things. Okay, weapon rework. In this update, we're doing an overhaul of certain aspects of our weapons, where each weapon will have the same max range and fall off regardless of rarity and class. That was already addressed in the learnings article last week. So classes of weapons, if you wanted to know what the classes of weapons are, there they are. Shotgun, short range, mid-range, mid to long range, long range, very long range. And we also have melee, but melee is melee range. There's no point in talking about those here because they're talking about the range of the weapons. As an example, for short range class weapons, this means that regardless of which of these weapons of rarity you pick, you all will have the same max range and damage fall off, because people... Well, anyways, I'm just going to continue reading. This also means that if you wish to hit a target at a long range, you will no longer be able to use higher rarity weapon that was designed to work at shorter ranges. Each class is specialized in its own range. Yeah, because some people were using... There were multiple uses of certain weapons because of the range and damage fall off. This is putting everything, I forget the right term for this in English, but it's basically streamlining the different classes with their max range and damage fall off, just to make it more logical, in a way that they are expected to behave if you're coming, let's say, from like other kind of shooter games. Artifact system, saves, and expeditus boots. I haven't heard anyone say it, so I will say it's expeditus boots. With this update, we have introduced a new artifact system. Artifacts can be found at rotated locations across Prague. Bullet points for this: safe locations will change for every match. Saves can be opened without keys. They will contain an artifact that will grant you certain abilities when picked up. You will be able to utilize one artifact at a time. The first artifact added with this update is the Expeditus boots. We know some of you missed the opportunity to traverse more smoothly across Prague, which is something that these will allow for. These boots grant you the ability to double jump without desync issues. Now, the way that some people have been setting that this works is basically... if you continue to double jump, just use the spacebar. That's it. But yes, a few things to keep in mind here. These are saves, so you can see this is a safe. This is a square box, so not to be confused with the caches, which are big rectangles. I just, just need to put it out there in case anyone is wondering. Yes, they can be opened without keys, and you can only use one artifact at a time. So just, this is all keep in mind for in the future when a second or other artifacts will be added in the game. Also, if you don't know, whenever someone dies that has the boots drop as well, and you can pick them up from the loot pile of that person. So yeah, many people rejoiced at the idea that double jump is back. But yeah, hold on, is this the one? Yeah, I put out a tweet just before starting this. Just before starting this recording. If ever you want to join, I put there you go. There's the link to it. This is just the first artifact. I'm curious to know exactly what people are thinking about what kind of artifacts you would like to see in the future. What kind of abilities would you like them to have? Because boots doesn't have to be necessarily limited to the fact that, they're a clothing item. They can be other stuff. Do you want a trinket? What kind of trinket would you want to have? What kind of ability should it bring? Is that an ability that's needed or that would be useful in our battle royale? Go give your thoughts, because I haven't seen a lot of people talk about the fact that this was just the first one, meaning that they have a few in mind. This is a new system, so we're gonna see. Dual shotguns. The dual shotguns are two dual-wielded sawed-off double-barreled shotguns with a capacity of 4 rounds. Practically, they land somewhere in the middle of the other 2 shotguns. If fired in quick succession, they will do devastating damage at short range, which allows you to quickly take down or kill your opponent. The dual shotgun combines both burst and consistent damage, which makes them ideal for close quarters combat. As with other weapons, they come in assorted rarities. So some people... okay. First of all, let's correct my assumption last week. They're saying they were probably like muskets or something like that. That's out of the question. Now they're dual shotguns. Now, some people so far that I've seen in the feedback have been comparing them to basically the dual crossbows, the famed dual crossbows, just without the, dual crossbows are at range and those dual shotguns are in close quarters combat. And apparently, from what I've been seeing, yes, they're absolutely, totally as devastating as the dual crossbows. So, yeah, we're gonna see how people feel about that. And we're gonna see if, the dual crossbows, they might be getting a nerf. We're gonna see how that goes. Hello in chat. King Blazer, glasses that let you see through the crossbow gas, sab bomb gas. That's an idea. Cloak trinket that allows immunity to any ability for a short duration of time. So basically, flesh of marble. You get the vandal. You get the you get the Ventru flesh of marble. So as yeah, I feel that might be a little too OP. But it's spitballing. Maybe there's another way to change that into other things. Like I say, throw ideas out there. Let's see what happens, And Zuko, hello, and yeah, no problem. Okay, Camarilla Case chest rotation. To reward exploration and add more dynamic factors to Prague, the Camarilla Case chest will now rotate between locations in each match. In order to discover these locations, you need to keep an eye out for them or activate your heightened senses. Be mindful that they will still require a key to unlock. People that have known the game, we have established in our heads naturally an order. Just by playing the game, we know exactly where each and every chest is in the game. We know where to go. We have a key. We're nearby something. We know exactly where which chest is. But now not anymore. It's putting a nice little twist on making sure that things are not as set in stone for us as possible. A little bit like earlier with the class ability change, the archetype abilities changing, just putting a few more little spins to make every match a little bit more like. At the same time, we've got a certain level of comfort, but sometimes just gotta remove it once in a while. Just gotta twist it around a little bit. So yeah, I so far haven't seen anyone complain about this or say anything positive about this. I'm one of the people that think, yeah, this is positive. To say that, yeah, let's add a little spice inside the game. Actually have to look for the chests, because after a while we used to know all the locations. We had them already mapped out in our heads. We know the locations immediately. We know where the chests are. But now this is putting a nice little spin on that. King Blazer, I wanted to get rid of TDM for Rocket League area map type of thing for parkour. I don't think that they will be introducing any other game modes, and they will not be shutting down any of the current game modes. There are people that are very vocal and very engaged in the specific kind of game mode that they have right now. And with the population that we have, I don't see any reason why they would do any kind of stuff like that. Do you know when next time the Technomass will be available again? I said that a little bit earlier. There's some people this week, or even like today, I think that Gizmo Beats is going to be giving away some codes. So you'll have to go back in the VOD. I mentioned each and every one of the people and their Twitch channels. If you want to go, maybe see if they got they will be like giving out some codes. We're gonna see. And yeah, myself, I don't know exactly when I'm going to be giving out mine, but I'm working on things. Revive Station needs to be randomized also. Yeah, I agree, J-Real. That would be very interesting if they can pull it off. I don't know how revive stations are coded inside the game, but that could be J-Real, I invite you to go in the Bloodhunt Discord and put that in the feedback channel and see the people's reactions to this, because this could be very interesting. There we go. Okay, moving on. Sorry. Bot changes. We continue to make various adjustments to the bot logic. In this one, we have made a couple of changes that make bots a bit smarter and also more well-dressed. Customization. The bot's vanity selections will now have different customizations. They will be random to make them less distinguishable from real players. That was a big ask from the community, because we knew that everyone that was dressing with the basic default 3 or 4, the basic 4 default costumes, we could just assume that they would be either new people that don't have any customizations open to them, or they would be bots. Now having a different visual representation or visual marker in front of us is going to put a little spin on exactly knowing if you're fighting a real person or if you're fighting a bot. Also, their behavior is something that we used to at some point kind of know exactly if some opponents were bots or not. But there we go, better use of powers. Bots are now more selective when using their powers, and more often will utilize them when it makes more tactical sense. For example, a Ventru might use their own Flesh of Marble power as a defensive maneuver, rather than using it immediately when spotting an opponent. My joke was to say Ventru bots use Flesh of Marble to assert dominance in the battlefield. Just to you know, I'm the alpha here. I'm just use Flesh of Marble whenever I can, whenever I'm in there. That's so they're gonna be more smart about it. Less likely to use blood bags or armor while in combat. In certain situations in the past, the bots would decide to start feeding from a blood bag or wearing a new armor whilst in combat. The bots have collectively decided to stop doing this. Always love notes about bots. Less likely to run past the target when in combat. Bots will not be more aware of their target location and will be less eager to chase them to the point of sprinting past them. Or, as most of us will know, bots that will be charging at us without even a melee weapon in hand, but will just keep charging at us until they are inside our bodies. That should not be happening anymore. Sniper scope reticle. Okay, so this is being apparently like the hottest of topics inside the community. They changed the sniper scope reticle for one that looks much cooler and should also help with aligning the shots better. Some people have been calling it baby's first sniper, baby first sniper weapon. I don't know. It the general idea, however, like despite all the the mocking and the jokes that people have been saying, it seems that if anyone has an issue with this reticle, is that it's a little bit too cluttered. Personally, I would have to agree with that. There's a little bit too much on the screen. But they wouldn't be doing any of this. Keep in mind, they wouldn't be spending any time on any of this if there wasn't a request from the community, from the feedback to give a little help with the sniping. So again, fill out the survey. Make sure you give your feedback on that. The survey is, like we said last time, and we've been saying like for months and months and months, repeating what the devs have been saying on the Discord, in the learnings article. The surveys are the #1 source of feedback from the majority of the community. Even though they're getting the feedback from everywhere, the main place where most people will tell them exactly how they feel about certain areas and certain things about the game is the survey. So go fill out that survey. You have up until Monday morning to do that. Weapon balancing. The dual crossbows nerf you all asked for is here. The fire rate has been lowered and the area... Oh, hold on. Just a second. Where is it? Oh no, I have to log in. Oh, come on. Give me a second here. Yes, that is my account. Let's do... There you go, dual crossbows nerf. The fire rate has been lowered and the area of effect drop-off damage has been increased. Less damage farther away from the center. You will now need to adjust your aim and place each shot closer to the target to get the full damage potential from these, aka aiming. We have slightly buffed the hunting... hold on. So fire rate has been lowered. AKA, you will have much more of a chance to react if ever someone does the whole death from above, falling down on you as they're unloading the dual crossbows on you. You will have a much more... You will have more few split second to react to that, and also to drop off damage. So you'll have to aim more. So it's less of a quick spammy, big AoE, explodey thing. So far, haven't heard a lot of feedback, but certainly have seen that the discussion about the dual crossbows has significantly dropped in the people's like lists of interests or topics to mention any of this, which is... It's so good to stop hearing about the dual crossbows. So I think that is something that the community really needed. We have slightly buffed the hunting rifle fire rate. This change should make it less punishing to miss a shot and more reliably apply the bleed effect. Hitting multiple shots in a row still has diminishing returns, and the damage from previous bleeds is lost when you hit the same target in succession. So yeah, the hunting rifle, as good and as satisfying and as fun as it is, yeah, it's taking a little bit. The fire rate was taking a little bit too long, so that's been changed. That's good. Lastly, the gold sniper rifle can reload a bit faster to compensate for its limited magazine size. The rate of fire should now match the other sniper rarities. Okay, like we said for the other weapons, Brigand in line. Yes, the reload felt a little bit too punishing. I understand what they were trying to do with that. Okay, at least make it like you're not handling, I don't know. You're not handling a huge, chunky, complicated weapon that takes so long. It's a fast-paced game, honestly. Matchmaker and networking adjustments. We have made several changes to the matchmaker to ensure that the player's first experience in Bloodhunt is a learning experience, having time to practice against bots rather than immediately facing the absolute best players. Furthermore, we wanted a more dynamic matchmaker that could adapt to the number of players, so it would be less strict when there are fewer players queuing versus when there are many. This adaptive ability is already live now, but might need further adjustments in the future. So, again, haven't heard a lot of feedback necessarily about this. Feel like people might have skipped over that announcement, or maybe the change that they've done has not been so super mind-exploding, game-breaking type of change that people like had something to say about this. But I'm very curious to learn about the first experience from Bloodhunt players or people that are starting the game. When exactly is the drop off when they are put out of the practice games against bots, against the cultist bots that they're, they have the certain amount of games that they are that they have to do before they're put in the pool with everyone else. I'm very interested to see if that beginner feedback is improved by this change. Yeah. So again, we're gonna see what's gonna happen. Zuko, that is not known. It is if people have information about codes and stuff, that they will announce it, hopefully. Keep an eye on the Discord and keep an eye on Twitter, I guess. I will always let people know that whenever there's some giveaways or any of that kind of stuff in my own socials. So for me it's mostly Twitter and Discord. I always make sure to let people know when there's an opportunity to get those, including mine, and I make sure to let you know in advance. Moving on. Additionally, we have implemented a change that prevents players from leaving the matchmaking queue when the matchmaker has found enough players to start a match. Oh! This will contribute towards maximizing the number of players in matches. Will help prevent starting with uneven numbers in TDM matches, and will also help prevent groups with missing players. That is something that not a lot of people have been we didn't know that it was exactly that was an issue, or that was the cause of the issues that we've been seeing when it comes to the matchmaking or starting matches with players missing all of a sudden. So this gives us a little bit of info of what's been happening in the background. So it's kind of it's a fun to know fact, but there's nothing that we can do about that. We just now know that. Also, we've made several optimizations to improve the responsiveness and overall server performance. This is an ongoing process and further investigations are underway. We plan for additional improvements to this aspect in future updates. Following what they've been saying in the learnings article, if you have any issues with your matches, open up a ticket with support. There is an article on the support site to tell you exactly how to get your files. Basically, your match files, and send them over in your ticket so you can say, hey, I've had 4 red blinking icons during this match. Please look into it. I had server FPS issues. I had rubber banding. I had whatever. Keep sending in those tickets, because if they don't have the data that comes from us, from our own computers, and it's not the kind of information that they can grab with their program. They can't grab this necessarily from our computer. We have to send that to them. We have to signal them about that. Ever since we knew about that, I guess like last month or so, they have had more data in their hands, and I've been seeing some people reporting that since the patch, the performance has increased a little bit, but not super good. Still server issues once in a while. So yeah, like they're saying, ongoing process. At least they know that we know that they're working on it. There's so many people that have been complaining about server performance. They seem to like be on it, working on it, but it's not. Doesn't seem to be like an easy fix, or else we would have got that on everything. We get stuck on everything now. I get it. Cheddar cheese. There's several things that I'm still getting stuck about. Hello, Calamero. And to finish out, we've got bug fixes and additional changes. The one that was annoying. We fixed an issue where the player sometimes would not enter a match after a match was found. That happened to a few people. Golden rarity weapons can now spawn naturally in TDM. That was something that was already happening, so I wonder exactly what that change is supposed to mean. We're already seeing golden weapons, so I'm not exactly sure what to think about that. Yes, resolve some issues with floating lamps in Prague, which if I hadn't seen it like often enough in the last like couple of weeks before this update arrived, I would have gone, I don't know exactly what you're talking about. But then I saw that there were floating lamps in Prague that were missing. The lamp was there, the whole other part of the lamp was not there, or they were at some places where they're not supposed to be. Anyways, so this is our this is the combat and power update. There we go. Combat and power update. These were the patch notes. Yeah, like I said, I read through all of these because I know that some people have already come to their conclusions. I've been skipping all the notes, not been thinking about like what that might be, of the consequences or how that might affect other things. I always do this, so there you go. Some people were wondering, why is there no new battle pass? Well, as we said last week, and we've been reporting like in the last few news recaps, the devs have been saying on the Discord quite repeatedly that the battle pass, we discovered last week that the Nemesis battle pass, the permanent Nemesis battle pass, is actually not going to be permanent. It just doesn't have an expiry date for you to know. The devs maybe know, but they're not going to tell us until they actually are ready with an update for a new battle pass. They've assured us that they will let us know in advance when the battle pass is going to end. And also we can assume that there's going to be a double XP event either week or weekend or whatever beforehand. some people might have noticed if they've been paying attention to the community, either in the Discord or on the Twitter, which is where usually I see people's feedback. When they learned that there was an update that was coming for Bloodhunt, suddenly there's a bunch of worried people that were asking, is there a new battle pass coming in? And everyone was saying, well, there's not a new battle pass coming in. It's like, okay, so when is it going to expire? I've started it, I haven't finished it, or I haven't even started it. I want some of the items in there. Suddenly everyone starting to pop up and panic and going, oh, wait a second, I gotta get back into Bloodhunt. There was no timer to it, so now I gotta work on this, especially that I know that there is going to be another battle pass that is going to come in the future. When, we don't know, but we know that they are working on another one. So, word to the wise. Another part to this is Meriden Unknown, which at this point you should all know. He is the Bloodhunt. Okay. Let me take some coffee. Hold on. Take two. Wow. Bloodhunt. What am I saying? Bloodhunt lore guy. That is keeping track of all the lore, the quests, who makes the quest guides on Steam that you should be following, the guy who is working on the Bloodhunt wiki that is currently work in progress. Can't wait to see how that's going to look when it's going to be completed in the future. Yes, he's been keeping track of all the quests and everything that's related to the journals and the lore entries and all of this, and he had to say to all Bloodhunt lore seekers, it appears the previously bugged domain location entries that were stuck at 2 of 3 completion are now working as intended. I was able to complete every entry for that section on my PS5 account. We'll verify again on PC later. I've also had success completing the demolition key location, but did not have the same luck with the Divine Discord art gallery. However, more testing is needed to verify if those may yet be bug. Happy hunting. I was wondering about that, and I was thinking, originally my thinking was those lore entries in our journals, it's because the devs have plans for the future and are just, because that's what they've been doing, like incrementally with I wouldn't say every update, but with different updates, they've been allowing us to unlock more and more parts of the journal. So I was thinking, oh, maybe it's things in the future. But apparently, according to Meriden, the domain location entries were bugged. So that's good to know. Did you type Meriden the Bloodhunt? Yeah, I don't. He said he failed that Bloodhunt tag in the first tweet. That's what he gets for tweeting from his phone at 8 a.m. when he hasn't slept. So yeah, the Bloodhunt. So yeah, Meriden is always on top of things. He is always in contact with the people that take care of the lore for Bloodhunt. He has his own discussion channels with them. He's also active on if ever you're interested in this, I know it's not going to be a lot of people that are interested, but World of Darkness, the company that holds the Vampire the Masquerade IP, in their Discord there is a a channel specifically for Bloodhunt, where a lot of people are mostly interested in the Bloodhunt lore, so that's where he hangs out to explain exactly what's happening in the story and all of that. So he makes sure to keep track of all of this on top of making videos. I've heard, by the way, it's just a little side note, Meriden's been posting that he now has a fully functional computer now again, and now he's going to be able to start soon, TM, to make other Bloodhunt videos. So expect that maybe in the future, because it's been slacking a little bit. We need more videos, because there's so many things to explain. And we are going to mention store updates. That's something that some people have been very talking a lot about. So there are season 1 battle pass outfits that items that have been coming back inside the store. Mostly, what most people have been talking about are the new mask, the Dystopia mask, and the Rosy Eyewear, which were new items. These are confirmed new items that are available for 500 tokens each. These are the really new items. We know that the previously missing Gilded Network tattoo, so that's the gold one that some people have been asking about because it was in the store previously, and in the last update it disappeared without any explanation. Well, now it's back, so you can go ahead and purchase that one if you don't already have it. But there was an investigation made by Meriden again. Let's see if I can change this a little bit. That he's been working on with Angry Vampirus from Bloodhunt fashion. So he put a list of all the season 1 battle pass items and things, basically, because there's emotes as well, that are now added to the store. So there's a whole list here. There was a little bit of confusion about an emote, but yes, they seem to have decided to bring back some battle pass items for, worth of a certain amount of tokens. I still feel, because I haven't looked into that much this week, I haven't had time. I feel like there are more items that I don't recall seeing there before. I might have to do a little bit of research, but yeah, some of the items in the store are back. Some really like it, some because they've been requesting to bring some of those items back, or bring, if they're not bringing the battle pass, the entire battle passes, making them available again for purchase or to be able to play, at least bring some of the items back. And yeah, so some people are very, very happy about this. Some of them dislike that because here we go again with the discussion about rarity of items and should limited time items make a return or not. And I will not go back into that kind of discussion. There's plenty of people to have that discussion. It's a discussion, like I said, that happens in many other games that have customization or items that are available for a limited time and all of this. There's discussion about this. Have fun with that. I'm not going to discuss that. But yeah, so if we're going past this update into Bloodhunt related news, we got a little story from Combat Glue. I don't know if there's any new people, but Combat Glue was a dev at Sharkmob, and yeah, he used to take care of streamer and special events. And he says here that one time you nearly booked a BDSM/gay club to host an after party at TwitchCon because it fit perfectly with Bloodhunt Elysium design. Still remember the discussions internally in the team. This is probably one thing I regret did not happen. So let me show you this. And tell me, like, you've got the aesthetic of the Elysium and the club in your mind, and you look at these pictures and you go like, this is kind of a perfect fit, right? Like, look at those pictures here. Okay, the church memorabilia. And look at this, is a view from the balcony. The place is called Club Church. Like, come on. You've got the iconography, you've got the lavishness, you've got the arches, the design, the lights. Some more of the stuff here. The questionable apparatus that you might find in some areas of the club. Yep, that again. And yeah, look at that look. It's you know, it's a imagine cosplayers from Bloodhunt in that kind of environment. That would be really cool. Yeah, you've got a smoker's lounge on the side, and this is the last picture from the other side of the bar. It's still like from that perspective, it's still a small place. It looks like a small place, but you know, it's the kind of clubs or places that when it's full packed of people and everyone's chatting and having their drinks, this is a very nice looking place. So apparently that idea got turned down. I would have. I mean, I know it was a. this is yeah, like this is in Europe, but I would have loved to have been there, to see, to be at that kind of party. I cannot show the rest of the web. I've linked you the website there. I cannot show anything else from that website because then it's. Remember, it's a BDSM gay club. There's some things that are TOS, so keep that in mind. Yeah, okay. Also, in other Bloodhunt related news, Sharkmob is continuing to decide to do its own thing of like the show and tell about prop artists. And there you go, the again, a little like 8-part little discussion with a prop artist here, continuing their little things that are doing. Also, yeah, keep in mind, people, that there's a distinction between the Sharkmob things and the Bloodhunt things. Sometimes the people that they show here will show some things that they worked on for Bloodhunt. Maybe they're working on another one of their 2 other projects. Blah 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 blah. Again, I want to remind you, if you haven't seen it, the series about character art and how they put outfits together was probably the most interesting so far. If you want to have a little glimpse of what happens behind the scenes, I recommend watching that other one. Not anything to say in terms of merch, however. Hello, you're terminated. Moving on to tournaments, our good friend Bezpart posted this. Well, we have a Bloodhunt update very close. That was before the update. So those of you who know me, you know I always like to see your opinions / advice / improvements about tournaments to make them as requested by the community. What would this tournament that is to come, you know, the tournament that I've been saying, like he's been preparing, he's been asking for feedback. So there you go. It's just like go talk to him. If you want to be a part of the tournament, if you want a tournament that the community has requested, like the format, the format, the prizes, the rules, the how do you like tap the points, all of this, just to make sure that it's the most tailored to what the community wants. Go hit at Bezpart. There you go. You've got the tweet right there that I linked to you. You've got his account there. He's got a Discord. He streams. If you want to talk to him, if you want to give him ideas or feedback, or just let him know, hey, I want a trios tournament. Some people might go. Some people might go like, "Hey, I want an actual. I know you want trios tournament, but maybe there's a lot of people that are asking for a duos tournament instead. Maybe you can switch on that. Maybe we can do an only fist. You never know." But I think he specializes in trios tournaments, also because the trios tournaments, trios is the queue that does not have bots, so that makes it fair for everyone. So yeah, there you go. Get yourself involved, and because we know that some people sometimes after the event is gone, that's when they complain about the rules and all the stuff that they could have been involved in, and they just didn't. So spread the word. If you got some peoples that are interested in the tournaments, there you go. That's the person you got to contact. Something I mentioned last last Saturday, because it was happening later on that day, there was Laura K from Club of 483 that was doing a Bloodhunt tournament. Now, I did not know a lot of the details, and I now have to correct myself because now I understand what the format was, because there was a little mixed information. I wasn't quite sure exactly how it was, so let me explain exactly what happened here. Because here's what she has to say. Our Bloodhunt tournament has wrapped up and we had so much fun. Shout out to the devs and Tobias for giving us a custom server to play on, and here are the results. Our winners won themselves a gift card from Cosmic Candles and a charity donation in their name. So here's exactly how the whole thing went. The whole idea, actually, I wrote something about this, so let me read it. It's like, the interesting thing was the Bloodhunt devs put together a custom server for that tournament because of the nature of the charity. That was the Trans Women of Color Collective, because there was a chance of possible targeted harassment, because some people on the internet are absolutely delightful people that absolutely do not want to make life or events hard for other people to happen. So, I asked Laura about this when she was on her stream while they were setting things up. She mentioned that while, yes, this was a custom Bloodhunt server, and we know that the custom servers on Bloodhunt are something that the community have been asking for, she did mention that it took quite an amount of effort from the devs to put together. And to get inside the server, we even saw it live for some people that came in late or there had to be some replacements. They had to have a specific series of instructions to follow, like to the letter, to actually make it happen and join the servers. And that server specifically only worked if the team leaders of all the different teams, because it was duos tournament, only if the team leaders were in North America. If they were in Europe, they weren't allowed to join. So just a lot of technical stuff had to be put in place to make this one event happen. So do not take this as an official custom servers are now coming. They're a thing. Because it happened once, it means that it's a thing that happened. Don't take it as that. However, this was a proof that it was something that was possible to do, and that we've seen, and it was there, and it was streamed by different people. So, as a reminder to everyone, the idea of putting custom servers was on the devs wish list. I've reported this like quite a few times. We can assume that right now it's possibly not something that's at the top of their prior list. It's still in their priority list. It's still in the list of suggestions of things maybe to come. But possibly they would have to wait until we got a lot more players in the game. Because right now, as we all know, we want as many people to be in our matches as much as possible. Okay? According to the desires of the community. A lot of people want to fight against other real people. So until we start having weeks and weeks and weeks of having matches of solos and duos that, have bots activated, if we can start having week after week of entirely, like almost full entire servers full of people and almost no bots, I would say don't consider custom servers to be a thing that is, that might be coming in the near future. I would have said the same. I think we don't need bots anymore in stable numbers. Then we can talk about that again. Exactly. And on that note, we are done in terms of all the news that I had to report this week. So, what to expect now, as I usually do? Well, on Monday morning, the survey closes for the update, so go fill out that survey. Let me actually link it back again in case some of you might have forgotten or weren't there at the beginning. Let me just pull that from my list. There we go. There's the link for the survey. So yeah, that closes on Monday. So take the weekend to write your survey, give your feedback. Again, make it clear and concise as much as possible. And remember, there are humans behind it. So leave the color commentary to the side. Okay, they want just data. Okay, data from you, impressions from you. That's what they want. Next Friday, we're gonna get the new drop. It was the neck tattoo that we saw earlier. There are hints in the community that some events might be preparing. Some people might be preparing some things soon. I think that we were all waiting to see exactly how the update, what was in the update and how the update worked and how that affected the game. And now we can start thinking about if we have events like to start getting them happening. As usual, if you have some events or some ideas of events or community driven things to do with Bloodhunt, please make them known. Tweet your interest about it. Mention it in the Discord. Maybe Tobias can help you and bring you some codes for you to distribute to people. Yeah, there might be some things that might be starting to happen, might be starting to pop up. I will make sure to, of course, make sure that everyone knows about this when I'm gonna be putting that on my Twitter, putting that on my Discord whenever there's something else that's happening. And yeah, as I said earlier, keep an eye on the streamers who will do giveaways. Let me see if I can put everyone in one thing here. Oh, there you go. Okay. Well, it's better, much better than I expected. But yeah, these are all the people that won some codes recently from the Inner Circle Inner Contests. So give them some follows. Go check out their streams. Go ask them if they already give out their codes, because I don't know. I haven't had time to do like specific follow-ups with them or how they're gonna give away the codes. I know yesterday that Gizmo Beats said that today when he was going to be streaming, he was going to give out some of the codes. So maybe give him, maybe check him out first. Yeah. And as a reminder, and I will keep doing that reminder, more and more people every week are discovering Bloodhunt. Remember that what you do and what you say can either welcome new players or push them away. So be aware of how you're talking about the game and how you're talking about the community. It's okay to have your own frustrations about some things, but be careful, because sometimes the way that you are presenting some things may be it may give an idea to someone to go like, oh, this is bad, I'm not even gonna download this game. Remember, there's still some people out there that still think that this game, well, some people think that the game is dead, some people don't even know that the game exists, and some people still remember that this game had this weird reload bug. Remember that reload bug that we squashed many months ago? Some people still think that this game still has that bug. So yeah, be careful about how you present the game, please, because we need more people to join in the game. Yes, and as a reminder to everyone, if you ever pick up on some details, some things that might be interesting and might be newsworthy, don't hesitate to contact me, let me know, give me screenshots of combos, or give me the links to the VODs, join my Discord and post some stuff there. Let me link everything again on the screen. Yeah, there's only 24 hours in a day, and currently, like I've been saying, my IRL job is doing everything to make sure that I am not having a fun time existing. So there's only 24 hours in a day. I can't be everywhere. So if you want to help, please, I appreciate. My DMs are open on pretty much everything that I am on. And yes, if you haven't already, please give me a follow on Twitch. My channel, again, is growing. How much are we at right now? I haven't looked. I've seen that some people have been following during this newscast. I'm sorry, like, notifications have turned off, so I haven't looked. We have 396 followers. Mind is blown. So yes, remember that whenever I stream Bloodhunt, you can get special drops, and I do code giveaways regularly. And yeah, give me a follow on Twitter for sure. And that's it for us here. And people that are on Twitch right now, stick around. After this recording, I'm doing a Purple Pain giveaway. And a reminder, finally, be kind to each other and to yourself. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next week.